August, I was in Anaheim to attend the Pokemon World Championships. But of course, if I'm going to travel all the way to LA, I am also going to check out the food scene here. And in particular, the Asian food, because I've seen lots of videos and heard lots of things from friends who studied in this area about how good the food is, and I had to check it out for myself. So one of the things I really wanted to see is what is ramen like in LA compared to what I'm more familiar with from Japan. And so I decided to get my favorite kind of ramen base, which is tori python, tonkatsu's chicken-based cousin. Now for this kind of things, I'm not looking to see how authentic or how similar it is to Japanese ramen. It's more so a curiosity to see how the dish has been adapted to different flavor palettes or different preferences in different countries. And what I noticed is that in a lot of the places I saw, at least around Anaheim, was that the richness of the broth was often enhanced with a bit of sesame paste, which creates a more creamy and nutty soup base. It definitely made it a lot richer compared to what I'm used to in Japan, and I would say that even then, tori python is considered quite a rich soup base. And I've included a side-by-side comparison. You can see that the one in America is a bit more opaque compared to the one that I have in Japan. So even though the color is still really dark in Japan, you can still see a bit of transparency through it. But I do like it. And I noticed as well with the toppings, well, you have the usual seaweed, egg, and some form of meat. I noticed that a lot of the ramens I had broccolini or bok choy as the vegetable of choice, which I think is an adaptation to the local taste because it's something I saw in London as well when I was studying there. And something else that I noticed is the fried shallots tend to look a little bit different. I'm not sure how to describe it. I think they're a bit more dry in the West compared to when I have it in the East. Like here's a side-by-side comparison. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. And so basically, the next montage is just going to be a dedication to my favorite Korean dish, which is Seolleongtang. So the first place I went to is SYTK Seolleongtang, which I was really surprised at how clean the beefy flavor was. It was so much richer than I expected, and it was oddly really quiet. Like when I went in, it was literally just a table full of aunties in one corner and myself. I'm pretty sure I was the youngest person in this restaurant, and the staff was really friendly. I really enjoyed the Seolleongtang here because the broth was not only really thick and milky, which it's the best part about Seolleongtang, but I found there was just so much beef brisket in it. And the other place I went to is Hanbat Seolleongtang. And the first time I heard about this place was from Blvd on their soup episode. And any teenager that was raised in the mid-2010s would know how big Blvd was during that time. And so this was one of the places I really wanted to try if I ever visited LA. And it did not disappoint at all. I would say that the soup is a lot funkier and has more of a richer beefy flavor compared to the one at SYTK. So while the flavor is a lot stronger, I wouldn't say one place is better than the other. I think it's ultimately up to personal preferences. I would definitely go to both places. And you would notice between the two dishes, one of the dish uses an opaque white noodle, which is called somen noodles, and the other uses glass noodles, which can be made from potato starch, monkey starch, and a lot of times they just act as a form of carbs in addition to the bowl of rice you will get, which is definitely a must-have when you're eating Seolleongtang because the rice in that soup is just the best, most comforting combination ever. I usually add about half of my rice into this soup so it can absorb the soup and become like a kind of congee in a way, and leave the other half just to dunk it in the soup briefly so that you still get the mouthfeel of each grain of rice. So obviously from looking at the footage, this is a massive bowl of soup and there are many different ways you can eat it and there's no way that's wrong. One of the ways that I like to eat is take out all of the beef brisket, which there is a lot of in both dishes, and create a sort of parcel with the cabbage kimchi. I really like cabbage kimchi in particular when I'm eating with my beef brisket, but I like the radish kimchi on its own because it's more refreshing. And it just creates such a wonderful contrast of textures, the crunch, the spice, and the flavor of the kimchi compared with the tender beef. I can easily go through 2 to 3 sides of the cabbage kimchi alone just eating like this. And once I'm done with all of my beef, I would start to add the kimchi sauce into the soup itself, but in a little bowl so that it doesn't mix with the original flavor of it. And I can't seem to find any footage of it, which means I was probably busy inhaling the soup at this point. Which I think just goes to show how much I actually really like this dish. This is a dish I'll eat all weather. It doesn't matter how hot the weather is outside or how cold it is, I would still be drinking the soup. This is soy marinated crab and it's probably one of the most viral food that I've seen on social media. And it's essentially raw crabs that have been marinated in a soy sauce marinade. So I've had this dish once before in Japan, and the place I went to in LA is a Michelin star guide place where apparently you need to get a booking to be able to eat at the place in Seoul. And honestly, I get why. This crab had so much egg roll in it. It was in all the little crevices of their shell where you have to dig it out with your chopsticks. And the crab was so sweet and not fishy at all. It tastes kind of refreshing in a way. And the soy sauce marinade was not too salty too. Not to mention, they also had this special seaweed called kapte, which I saw on a Business Insider video. And if you think about the regular seaweed, this has 10 times the flavor. So umami packed, and it pairs so well with the flavor of the crab. And once again, there's a bit of a theme going on here. I like to create a little bit of a package with the seaweed, squeeze out the crab roll and the rice. It creates the most amazing flavor bomb in your mouth. When filming videos like this, normally I just hold my camera, but I'm trying to use a tripod to get more steady shots. And I'm still a bit nervous when filming in public, so I try to be very discreet and do a quick in and out shot. And I really like the setup, so I'm going to try using it more in the future.